Welcome back to Who Died Today USA channel. In the past few days, we have received somber news about the passing of extraordinary talents. Today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. Additionally, we will recap the stars we have recently lost. Before we begin, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Thank you.
Lloyd once had fans stand outside a bathroom stall he was in to listen to him have a dumpy.
At 6 a.m. on April 14th, 2025, the American airwaves fell silent with the heartbreaking news: Jed the Fish, born Edwin Jed Fish. Gould III passed away peacefully at his home after a courageous battle with lung cancer. He was 69. The announcement came through his official Instagram, accompanied by a touching farewell. "The world will never be the same. R.I.P. Jed, go be with Alice," referencing his beloved dog. Born on July 15, 1955 in Arizona, Jed's journey into broadcasting began in high school and truly ignited when he joined KROQ in 1978, back when the station was just a struggling FM outlet in Pasadena. With his trademark cackling laugh, irreverent humor, and uncanny ear for cutting-edge music, Jed helped shape the sound of a generation. He was the first U.S. DJ to spin tracks from Depeche Mode, Duran Duran, and The Pretenders, carving the path for new wave and alternative rock. But Jed was more than just a voice. He was a spirit, one of creative freedom, raw charisma, and defiant originality. Former colleagues recall him as a light that could fill an entire arena and an eccentric without effort. Even after leaving KROQ in 2012, Jed stayed close to his roots, contributing to projects at KLUS and Rock of the 80s, always driven by passion, never by convention. Jed's legacy is etched into the hearts of all who tuned in, laughed along, and discovered new music through him. Though he's gone, Jed the Fish remains an irreplaceable part of radio history, a true original whose voice will echo on. Do you have a favorite Jed the Fish memory or song he introduced you to? Share it with us below. Let's celebrate the legend together.
It's really, yeah, you'll see, it's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do people really come out in all their finery, or is it sort of a mixed bag?
The world of documentary filmmaking has lost a luminous voice. Andrea Blaugrund Nevins, an Oscar-nominated and Emmy-winning filmmaker, passed away on April 12th at her Los Angeles home after a courageous battle with breast cancer. She was 63. Known for her deeply human stories and ability to explore complex themes with empathy and grace, Andrea's passing leaves a profound void in both the entertainment industry and the hearts of those who knew her. Andrea's career was a celebration of storytelling with purpose. From her moving debut, Still Kicking, The Fabulous Palm Springs Follies, to the culture-defining Tiny Shoulders, Rethinking Barbie, and the raw emotional depth of The Other F Word, her work consistently gave voice to the unheard. Whether shining a light on punk rock fathers or re-examining the legacy of Barbie, Andrea's documentaries invited us to reconsider what we thought we knew, and to do so with compassion. Behind her brilliance, Andrea fought a long and private battle with illness. Those closest to her described not only her physical strength, but also the emotional resilience she brought to her final days, continuing to create, contribute, and care deeply about the causes she championed. Her warmth, curiosity, and relentless hopefulness remain undiminished, even in the face of pain. Andrea is survived by her husband, producer David Nevins, and their 3 children. Her legacy, a tapestry woven from art, advocacy, and authenticity, lives on through her films and the many lives she touched.
Olga Garay, que estaba trabajando en el Departamento de Cultural Affairs del condado,
Mario Ernesto Sánchez, beloved actor, director, and passionate advocate for Spanish theater, passed away at 3:03 a.m. on April 10, 2025, after enduring a long and painful illness. He was 78, known to British audiences for his role in Only Fools and Horses and revered by many for his appearances in Miami Vice. Sánchez's legacy extends beyond the screen, deeply rooted in a lifelong commitment to cultural preservation and artistic expression. Born in 1947 in San Antonio de Las Vegas, Cuba, Sánchez came to the United States at the age of 15 as part of Operation Pedro Pan. This early upheaval shaped a resilient spirit that found its purpose in theater. In 1979, he founded Teatro Avante, a cultural foundation in Florida, and later launched the Miami International Hispanic Theater Festival, a globally recognized celebration of Latin American art that has thrived for more than 4 decades. His career spanned stage and screen, from Hollywood action films like Invasion USA and The Specialist to television appearances that brought Hispanic stories into the mainstream. Yet despite the accolades, including the prestigious 2014 Legacy Award, Sánchez remained down to earth, often declaring that there is still much to do for the art and community he loved so much. With his passing, the world has lost not only a gifted artist, but also a cultural pioneer who turned exile into inspiration and theater into a bridge between generations. May his light continue to shine through the voices he inspired. With heavy hearts, we remember the life and legacy of John St. Ryan, a man whose presence graced both our television screens and the quiet, open pastures of his ranch. Known to many as the charismatic Charlie Whelan from Coronation Street, and to others as a devoted horseman and mentor, John passed away on April 3rd at the age of 72 after suffering a heart attack. His final moments were spent surrounded by family, a quiet departure for a life so full of movement, artistry, and care. John's journey began in Burnley, Lancashire, where he first made his mark as a martial arts teacher before transitioning into acting. His strength and discipline led to stunt work, including a role as Sean Connery's double, before he stepped fully into the spotlight. He brought heart and humor to Coronation Street, later captivating audiences in shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, General Hospital, and Murder, She Wrote. His work in American Cyborg, Steel Warrior, showcased his versatility, cementing his place as a multifaceted performer. But it was away from the cameras that John perhaps found his greatest peace. At Red Rose Ranch in California, he poured his soul into training horses and riders, becoming a respected figure in the Doma Vaquera tradition. He was not just a trainer, but a teacher of patience, grace, and quiet strength. John requested no funeral. His final gift was the donation of his body to medical research. His family will hold a celebration of life in his honor, reminding him, as so many have described, a true gentleman. He is survived by his beloved wife, Joyce, and their 3 sons. The life story of Roy Ayers is a breathtaking symphony of talent, passion, and relentless innovation in music. On March 4, 2025, he took his final breath in New York City after a prolonged battle with illness at the age of 84. His family confirmed the heartbreaking news in a deeply moving statement, marking the end of more than 6 decades of creativity and dedication from a true musical legend. Born on September 10, 1940 in Los Angeles, Roy Ayers was raised in a deeply artistic household. His mother, a piano teacher, his father, a trombone player. Music nourished him from an early age, and when he discovered the vibraphone, the instrument that would forever be linked to his name, he didn't just play it. He redefined the way it was heard and felt. Ayers crafted a new sonic universe, blending jazz, funk, and soul into the unique genre we now know as neo-soul. His name reached across generations through timeless works like Everybody Loves the Sunshine and through groundbreaking collaborations with iconic artists such as Erykah Badu, The Roots, and Tyler, the Creator. His sound also inspired future music legends like Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, and Kanye West. In his final years, even as his health declined, Ayers never lost his deep love for music. Roy Ayers was more than a musician. He was the soul of an entire genre. And now, as the final note of his life fades, the echoes of his vibraphone will continue to resonate in the hearts of music lovers around the world.
Well, here's your chance. Show me what you got. Oh, real sweet.
Richard Norton, a martial arts legend, beloved actor and accomplished stunt coordinator, has died in Melbourne at the age of 75. His wife, Judy Green, confirmed the heartbreaking news, calling him the love of my life in a deeply moving tribute. While the cause of death was not immediately released, his passing has left an irreplaceable void in the hearts of those who admired his work and appreciated his warmth. Born in Croydon, Australia, Norton began his martial arts journey at the age of 11, later mastering judo, karate, and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. His early career saw him serving as a bodyguard for music legends such as the Rolling Stones, ABBA, and Stevie Nicks. But it was in Hollywood that he really made his mark, training stars like Charlize Theron, Scarlett Johansson, and Liam Neeson, and delivering unforgettable fight scenes in blockbusters like Mad Max, Fury Road, The Suicide Squad, and Dark Phoenix. Beneath the tough exterior of an action star were the challenges that Richard Norton quietly endured. Decades of performing dangerous stunts left his body with countless injuries and lasting fatigue. The sacrifices for his art were not only physical, but also distance from family, professional pressure, and loneliness that few people understood. Yet he always faced it all with resilience, turning difficulties into motivation and spreading inspiration to those pursuing their passion for martial arts and cinema. Besides his professional talent, Richard Norton is remembered as a kind person with a hearty laugh and a generous heart. His life was a combination of discipline, passion, and humility. As loved ones and fans honor his legacy, they do so with admiration for a man who truly embodied the strength, grace, and enduring spirit of martial arts. Diane Keaton, the woman who rewrote the rules of Hollywood. What happens when a woman refuses to follow the script, not just in her acting career, but in life? What if, instead of conforming, she carved out her own space in an industry built on perfection, control, and glamour? Diane Keaton is the answer to that question. A woman who became one of Hollywood's most enduring icons, not by fitting in, but by standing apart. Born on January 5, 1946, in Los Angeles, Diane Keaton entered the world in the very city she would come to define with her wit, strength, and originality. Over more than 5 decades in the spotlight, she has defied labels: actor, director, producer, author, style icon, and instead embraced a dynamic, ever-evolving identity. Known for her roles in Annie Hall, The Godfather, Manhattan, and Something's Gotta Give, Keaton has used her career to champion a different kind of woman, one who is quirky, flawed, authentic, and unapologetically herself. Her breakout performance in Annie Hall, 1977, didn't just win her an Oscar, it broke the mold. Based on her real-life persona, the character of Annie was a revelation, emotionally raw, intellectually sharp, and fashionably fearless. Her now legendary menswear-inspired wardrobe, oversized blazers, vests, ties, and wide-legged pants, sparked a cultural shift. Women saw in Keaton not only a new way to dress, but a new way to be. She embodied a refreshing liberation from the restrictive norms of femininity, inviting others to embrace their eccentricities as strengths. But behind the confidence and charisma lay a private world filled with struggles. In her early 20s, Keaton was diagnosed with basal cell carcinoma, a common but serious form of skin cancer brought on by excessive sun exposure. Later, she would also be diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma. These scares forced her to confront mortality far earlier than most, changing how she viewed health and aging. Since then, she has become a vocal advocate for sun protection, never leaving the house without sunscreen, sunglasses, and one of her signature wide-brimmed hats. These challenges not only altered her habits, but also shaped her relationship with vulnerability, a quality that would come to define many of her roles. Perhaps even more harrowing was her battle with bulimia, a disorder she developed in her 20s after pressure to lose weight for a stage role. For 4 years, she concealed a painful cycle of binging and purging behind her signature charm. "I became a master at hiding," she later revealed. The disorder took a toll on both her body and mind, contributing to heartburn, blood sugar swings, and self-loathing. It wasn't until years of therapy, the talking cure, as she calls it, that she was able to process the shame and recover. Today, her openness about that time helps destigmatize eating disorders and mental health struggles, especially in an industry that often glamorizes suffering. Her personal challenges didn't stop there. Keaton has also courted controversy, particularly for her continued loyalty to director Woody Allen amid allegations of abuse. While many former collaborators distanced themselves, Keaton publicly stood by Allen, stating, "I believe my friend." Her stance drew backlash, particularly during the rise of the Me Too movement, with critics accusing her of ignoring the voices of survivors. Keaton further stirred debate with her critique of victim culture, calling it a shameful rush to judgment. For some, these comments reflected her courage to speak her truth. For others, they revealed a dissonance between her progressive image and personal beliefs. Either way, she remained unapologetic, true to form, even when it was unpopular. Beyond Hollywood's spotlights and controversies, Keaton continued to break boundaries in her personal life. She never married, a conscious decision, and instead embraced single motherhood, adopting 2 children, Dexter and Duke, in her 50s. "I don't think I was ever cut out for marriage," she admitted, "but I always wanted to be a mother." At a time when single parenthood by choice was still unconventional, especially for public figures, Keaton's path was radical and inspiring. She proved that fulfillment doesn't come from tradition, it comes from authenticity. Keaton's artistic journey expanded beyond acting. She directed and produced films, wrote best-selling memoirs, and established herself as a lover of architecture and photography. She cultivated a personal aesthetic that echoed her performances, tailored yet expressive, bold yet unpretentious. Her enduring style, grounded in menswear and layered elegance, became not just fashion, but a form of self-expression, showing that confidence, not youth, is the essence of allure. Now in her late 70s, Diane Keaton continues to work, laugh, and challenge conventions. She embraces her age publicly, celebrating the silver in her hair and the stories written in her skin. In a town where ageism is rampant and youth is currency, Keaton has redefined what it means to age gracefully, by rejecting the notion altogether. She doesn't chase youth, she champions presence. Her humor, honesty, and eccentricity remain intact, lighting the way for anyone navigating the complexity of identity in a world obsessed with conformity. Diane Keaton is not just a movie star, she's a force, a woman who has lived on her own terms, through illness, scrutiny, fame, and solitude, and has never stopped evolving. Her life reminds us that strength can be quiet, that healing takes time, and that the most powerful thing we can do is live without regret. In every smile, every line delivered with precision, and every hat she tips to the world, Diane Keaton remains a beacon. not just for actresses, but for anyone brave enough to be themselves.
What have we just
Do you want one of mine?
What?
Do you want one of mine?
I know it won't fit.
The artistic journey of Dame Joan Plowright was a radiant symphony of talent, resilience, and wholehearted devotion to both stage and screen. On January 16, 2025, the legendary actress passed away seamlessly at the age of 95, surrounded by her family at Denville Hall. According to her loved ones, she spent her final decade in Sussex, embraced by laughter and cherished memories, after retiring due to blindness. Born in 1929 in Scunthorpe, Lincolnshire, Joan was raised in a family deeply passionate about the arts, her mother an opera singer and her father an enthusiastic amateur actor. She studied at the Old Vic Theatre School and made her stage debut in 1948. From her breakthrough performances at the Royal Court to her commanding presence at the National Theatre, she left a profound mark through roles such as Portia, St. Joan, Masha, and Beatrice. Alongside her brilliant husband Laurence Olivier, Plowright helped write a golden chapter in the history of British theatre. Later, she transitioned seamlessly to film, shining in acclaimed works like Enchanted April, Tea with Mussolini, Stalin, and 101 Dalmatians, earning multiple awards including a Golden Globe and an Academy Award nomination. Despite personal hardships and years spent caring for her ailing husband, Dame Joan lived with unshakable grace, dignity, and an enduring belief in the transformative power of art. On January 21st, theaters across London's West End will dim their lights for 2 minutes in her memory, a fitting tribute to a woman who illuminated every stage she ever graced. The graceful rise and fall of melodies have faded forever with the passing of Laurie Holloway, a gifted and humble artist, a quiet monument of British music. He died on January 9, 2025, in Berkshire, at the age of 86. His family confirmed he passed peacefully, leaving behind a profound musical legacy and the love of generations of musicians and admirers. Born in 1938 in Oldham, Laurie was a piano prodigy who quickly made his mark as a composer, arranger, and musical director for legends such as Judy Garland, Shirley Bassey, and Engelbert Humperdinck. He spent a decade as musical director of The Parkinson Show on the BBC and was a dear friend of Sir Michael Parkinson for nearly 60 years. From 2004 to 2006, he served as musical director for the first 3 seasons of Strictly Come Dancing, helping to define the show's iconic musical identity. Beyond the grand stage, Laurie devoted herself quietly to nurturing young talent. Alongside his late wife, acclaimed jazz singer Marion Montgomery, he co-founded the Montgomery Holloway Music Trust. From 1998 to 2021, they hosted summer programs that shaped hundreds of young musicians, with Laurie personally guiding each note and rhythm. Although he once played for the British royal family and was awarded an MBE in 2013, Laurie lived with modesty and grace, never seeking the spotlight. His music was not loud, but it was deep, sincere, just like him. And now, although his piano has fallen silent, those who listened, learned, and loved him will carry the melody of Laurie Holloway in their hearts forever.
Girdle that my nylon's hooked onto, and I remember him standing over there and saying, "Come on, guys, we don't want to be around."
The entertainment world bids farewell to a beloved icon, Lynn Marie Stewart, whose radiant charm and comedic brilliance graced both children's classics and cult sitcoms. Best remembered as the endearing Miss Yvonne from Pee-wee's Playhouse and Bonnie Kelly on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Stewart passed away on February 21st at the age of 78, leaving behind a legacy of laughter and light. Born and raised in Los Angeles, Lynn's passion for performance blossomed early, refined through theater studies at LA City College and sharpened with the Groundlings comedy troupe. Her career, spanning over 5 decades, included unforgettable roles in American Graffiti, MASH, Bridesmaids, and Clear and Present Danger. Yet it was her portrayal of the most beautiful woman in Puppetland that captured hearts and made her a cherished part of childhood for many. In December 2024, Lynn was unexpectedly diagnosed with a tumor located between her liver and gallbladder. Although she had just completed filming the upcoming film The Dink, exhaustion led her to seek medical care, and to everyone's shock, the illness advanced rapidly. She passed peacefully, surrounded by family, having recently viewed the final cut of her last performance. Remembered by friends as a woman of warmth, humility, and remarkable humor, Lynn lived for her craft, not for accolades. In the words of actress Cassandra Peterson, she'll always be the most beautiful woman in Puppetland. Her light lives on, in memories, in laughter, and in the stories she helped bring to life.
What my main focus was, but I was also available.
Howard Riley, a towering figure of innovation and soul, was a British pianist and composer who died on 8 February 2025, aged 81. A pioneer of European jazz, Riley blazed a trail beyond imitation, combining the structural freedom of avant-garde classical music with the rhythmic complexity of American jazz legends such as Duke Ellington and Thelonious Monk. From his early days in Huddersfield to leading his own trio in the 1960s, Riley's commitment to creative authenticity shaped a new style in jazz. Collaborations with Barry Guy, Tony Oxley, and later solo explorations shaped his legacy as a fearless improviser. He was also a thoughtful composer, contributing works to the London Composers Jazz Orchestra and resisting trends such as jazz rock fusion in favor of deeper rhythmic and harmonic dialogue. In 2012, Riley was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a moment that would have silenced many. But through medication and a resilient spirit, he returned to the piano, performing in his final years with grace and insight. His resilience shone through in concerts, such as his 2016 duet with Keith Tippett, and in his final project, Constant Change, a fitting reflection of his steady evolution. Offstage, Howard was a generous mentor and teacher whose gentle humor, deep wisdom, and musical generosity enriched generations. As his musician friends recall, he lived and breathed music with unshakable joy and integrity. In his words, "All I ever did was make music, and that was a profound and beautiful gift."
Next week of the Cannes Festival in its 50th year, having remembered they invited me.
A unique and rebellious chapter in the history of American independent cinema has come to a close with the passing of Paul Morrissey, a pioneering director, close collaborator of Andy Warhol, and the man who brought life on the margins of society to the screen with a vision both honest and daring. He died on October 28, 2024, in Manhattan from complications of pneumonia, at the age of 86. Morrissey left a lasting mark through films that unafraid to confront the strangeness and the naked truth of humanity. Born in Manhattan in 1938 to a devout Catholic family, Morrissey studied English at Fordham University before serving in the United States Army. In the early 1960s, he opened an underground cinema in New York's East Village and soon entered the creative orbit of the famed Warhol factory. From Chelsea Girls, Flesh and Trash to Women in Revolt, Morrissey continually pushed artistic boundaries, creating an unfiltered, provocative, yet deeply human cinematic language. With his cinema verite style and stars should be the center of the film philosophy, Morrissey turned characters like Joe D'Alessandro, Holly Woodlawn, and Candy Darling into enduring cultural icons. His later works, such as Flesh for Frankenstein and Blood for Dracula, while controversial, have become classics and further cemented his reputation as a daring auteur. Though he parted ways with Warhol in 1974 and continued to make films across a variety of genres, Paul Morrissey will forever be remembered as a fearless storyteller who shined a light on the darkest corners of urban life, a silent, uncompromising icon of 20th century underground cinema, now gone, but never forgotten.
Didn't you read about our film in the PTA newsletter?
No, I never got past the paper drive or the fund to buy the football team protective cup.
Linda Lavin, beloved star of Alice and Broadway icon, has passed away at the age of 87. With a career spanning over 7 decades, she was a beacon of versatility, wit, and warmth, who left an indelible mark on stage and screen alike. From her Golden Globe-winning role as the resilient waitress Alice Hyatt to her Tony-winning performance in Broadway Bound, Linda portrays every character with fierce honesty and magnetic charm. Her final months were a whirlwind of creativity. She had just wrapped work on Hulu's Mid-Century Modern, where she played the irreverent Sybil alongside Nathan Lane and Matt Bomer. She also appeared in Netflix's No Good Deed and was promoting her latest film, One Big Happy Family. Tragically, her vibrant energy was dimmed by complications from recently discovered lung cancer, a diagnosis she kept private until her sudden passing on December 29, 2024. Behind the laughter and legendary timing was a consummate professional who, even at 87, brought unrelenting dedication to her craft. Castmates recall her as a heat-seeking missile for a joke, a spirited presence who could lift any room. Her final performance, in a tribute episode of Mid-Century Modern, became a heartfelt farewell, capturing her legacy with the laughter she loved most. Linda Lavin was more than an actress. She was a mentor, a trailblazer, and a true original. As the lights dim and tributes pour in, one truth remains. The world was brighter, funnier, and more soulful because she was in it.
And imagine them before I ever actually went into a theater. From the stories told me by my mother.
Alan Rachins, the versatile actor who masterfully bridged drama and comedy, leaving an indelible mark on television history. He passed away peacefully on November 2, 2024, in Los Angeles due to heart failure at the age of 82. Known for his unforgettable portrayals of Douglas Brackman Jr. on L.A. Law and Larry Finkelstein on Dharma and Greg, Rachins was a performer who brought eccentricity, vulnerability, and humor to every role. Born in 1942 in Cambridge, Massachusetts, Rachins left the Wharton School to follow his passion for acting, an unconventional move that met with resistance from his family. His early years were marked by hardship, the death of his mother when he was just 11, a distant relationship with his father, and long periods of professional uncertainty. For years, he struggled to break into the acting world, taking small stage roles and even performing nude in the provocative O Calcutta, an experience he later described as emotionally exposing and vulnerable. These challenges, however, shaped a resilience and authenticity that Rachins brought to his work. When L.A. Law came along in 1986, it marked not only a career breakthrough but a personal triumph, proof that years of perseverance and quiet dedication could finally bloom into recognition. Off-screen, Rachins was a devoted husband, father, and passionate storyteller. He is survived by his wife of 46 years, actress Joanna Frank, and their son, Robert. With his passing, the world loses a generous spirit and a brilliant talent whose performances will continue to resonate through laughter, empathy, and the enduring humanity he brought to the screen.
Compare me to Meryl, Judy, Maggie, but why? They're not my competition, they're my ride or die.
Helen Mirren, the reigning rebel of cinema who refuses to fade. Our latest spotlight shines on a beloved and iconic actress, one whose charm has lit up the screen for decades. Yes, you guessed it. We're talking about the incomparable Helen Mirren. Her grace, boldness, and unshakable authenticity have made her more than a movie star. She's a cultural phenomenon. But now we want to hear from you. How much do you admire Helen? On a scale of 0 to 10, how would you rate her unforgettable performances? Drop your score and favorite Helen Mirren moment in the comments. We read everyone, and your voice matters in this celebration of an enduring legend. What does it mean to age unapologetically in Hollywood, the land of eternal youth and fleeting fame? Dame Helen Mirren might be the only person alive who can answer that question with both a smirk and a Shakespearean flourish. At 79, she is not simply surviving in an industry known for discarding women past a certain age, she is redefining it. For over 6 decades, Helen Mirren has stood as a paradox. Regal yet rebellious, sharp yet soulful, glamorous yet grounded. Whether she's playing queens or commanding car chases, her presence pulses with fierce intellect and mischievous wit. She is not a legend because she fits into a mold, but because she has shattered so many of them. Born Helen Lydia Mironoff on July 26, 1945 in Hammersmith, London, she was raised in a culturally rich household that merged Russian heritage with British sensibility. Her theatrical roots run deep. She rose to prominence through the Royal Shakespeare Company, embodying the power and complexity of roles like Cleopatra and Lady Macbeth. These early years laid the foundation for a career that would challenge every cinematic convention and earn her global acclaim. Her film breakthrough came with The Long Good Friday, 1980, but it was her daring, scene-stealing performances in films like Caligula, Excalibur, and The Cook, The Thief, His Wife and Her Lover that established her as a fearless actress, unafraid to dive into emotionally and physically raw territory. From politically tense thrillers like The Debt to the wisecracking matriarch in Red, Mirren has brought elegance and steel to every screen she graces. Yet it was her role as Queen Elizabeth II in The Queen, 2006, that marked a seismic moment in her career. Portraying one of the most scrutinized women in the world, Mirren gave a performance so nuanced and humane that it won her the Academy Award for Best Actress. With it, she didn't just play a queen, she claimed her place as one. And she hasn't slowed down. In 2023, she stunned audiences with her transformation into Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir in Golda, a role that required her to master both prosthetics and political intensity. Simultaneously, she made waves in the high-octane Fast and Furious franchise as Queenie, a gun-toting, gear-shifting London gangster matriarch who proved once again that age has nothing to do with speed or sass. But Dame Helen's influence goes far beyond acting. As the face of L'Oréal Paris, she champions age inclusivity in beauty, shattering the illusion that women become invisible with time. At the 2024 Cannes Film Festival, she wasn't just turning heads with her signature silver hair and bold style. She was also a leading advocate for L'Oréal's Lights on Women Award, empowering emerging female filmmakers. More women in film means more stories told differently, she said, with the kind of clarity that cuts through red carpet chatter like a diamond. Her candor is as powerful as her performances. She's been refreshingly honest about her insecurities, once admitting, "I wanted to be Twiggy." And I was absolutely not Twiggy in any sense. But rather than contort herself to fit impossible beauty ideals, she carved her own definition, one that's fierce, flawed, and deeply magnetic. Her message to younger generations: embrace your eccentricities. Confidence isn't something you fake, it's something you earn by being real. Aging, for Mirren, isn't a curse, it's an evolution. In a 2024 podcast, she joked, "I'm 79 years old. I never thought I'd be 79. It's not amazing. But then again, being 25 wasn't all that amazing either." There's no self-pity in her tone, just razor-sharp perspective and a willingness to meet each decade with humor and grace. In a world that weaponizes age, she wears hers like armor. Mirren's personal life is as unconventional as her career. Married since 1997 to director Taylor Hackford, she has never had children, a choice she's spoken about with both warmth and resolve. "I was always too engaged with my own life to raise someone else's," she once reflected. Yet she and Hackford share a bond that radiates mutual respect and creative synergy. Their relationship, like her career, is built on connection, trust, and laughter. Even her view on technology reveals the disarming wit that has become her trademark. She once lamented that it was tragic Kurt Cobain never got to experience the joy of GPS. "Just imagine him watching that little blue dot move along the street," she mused. There's something strangely profound in her observation, a playful reminder of how even small modern conveniences can carry wonder. As for health and fitness, forget celebrity trends or miracle diets. Mirren swears by a no-nonsense 12-minute Canadian military workout she picked up decades ago. "It's not glamorous," she admits, "but it works." Much like her career, it's built on consistency, not spectacle. A quiet discipline beneath the dazzling charisma. Mirren's ability to be both relatable and extraordinary is part of what makes her so enduring. She's not selling perfection. She's embodying possibility. In her, we see a roadmap for living out loud at any age, embracing evolution without apology. She's played monarchs, mob bosses, prime ministers, and Shakespearean warriors. She's walked red carpets and kicked down genre barriers. She's been celebrated by critics and beloved by fans across continents. But perhaps Helen Mirren's most radical role has been herself. Authentic, unfiltered, and gloriously uncontainable. So what does Helen Mirren mean to you? Was there a role that changed how you saw women on screen? A quote that stuck with you? A moment that made you laugh, cry, or believe that strength can look like anything? Even a woman with silver hair in a leather jacket? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear how this living legend has touched your life. And if Dame Helen has inspired you as she has inspired us, hit that like button, share her story, and subscribe for more profiles that celebrate the icons who challenge, transform, and uplift our world. To Helen Mirren, thank you for your intelligence, your bravery, and your unapologetic light. The stage may one day dim, but your brilliance will never fade.